Next up, a scuba diver on a spearfishing expedition is left at sea.
And I looked up, there was a bird a couple inches from my face and turned. I remember hitting him saying, I'm not dead yet.
And hit the surf with the United States Coast Guard.
Everybody get an idea how fast things are going to move around here? This is nothing right now.
That's next when Beach Patrol continues. Just off the southern tip of Florida, stretching for over 100 miles, lies a string of islands known as the Florida Keys. This is where the Gulf of Mexico meets the Caribbean Sea, a place where the dazzling colors above the water blend into the fertile world below. The water is warm and clear, visibility excellent. There are over 200 species of plant life and over 1,000 species of fish, from trumpetfish to snapper, barracuda, shark, and more. The area is an underwater adventurer's ultimate playground. From simple diving to spearfishing, the sights, sounds, and surroundings are plentiful. John Carney lives in Naples, Florida, but really lives to be under the sea. He's a fisherman, a hardcore underwater spearfishing enthusiast. Every chance he has, every spare moment, he's diving. Sometimes with friends, sometimes alone. He signs up for dive trips to the most remote areas off the Florida Keys, always searching for a better dive spot, an underwater hunter with a never-ending thirst for something new. On March 12, 1996, the moon was full, a time when strange things can happen. It's also the perfect time to go spearfishing. John signed up on a charter boat for a 4-day trip to Dry Tortugas, the most remote area in the Keys, the last island in the chain.
Beautiful day, the water is very good visibility. There wasn't a lot of wind and the waves were rolling waves.
There was a total of 16 divers on the boat. Some were there to just dive, exploring the reef and fish. Some just went swimming above the water, snorkeling. But most were there to spear fish like John. But this trip was different than most. John came alone, without his normal diving companions.
We spent Thursday night on the boat and then we went spearfishing all Friday. And I threw my gear on the bunk, and then I threw my sleeping bag over everything.
In the crowded bunk room, traveling alone, John was planning ahead for a little privacy. The goal was to make 6 dives the first day, and he knew he would be exhausted after 8 full hours of spearfishing.
You good to go?
All right. It was the last dive, and I was coming up and I was making my safety stop at about 15 feet of water, and the dive boat was right above me. It went over the top of me and I was done with my safety stop, and I came up and the boat was probably about 100 to 125 feet going south of me. The captain had said earlier, he said, if I come up, looks like I'm going away from you, don't worry, I'll be back to get you. I'm going to get some other divers. So I sat there and I put my flag on the end of my spear tip, held it up, and was waiting for the boat to pick me up. He went south of me a couple hundred yards, picked up some divers, turned around, and he was coming back towards me. And then they got about, I'd say maybe 300 yards south of me, and then they made a turn to the west. And at this time, it was, I don't know, maybe 7 o'clock, and the sun was starting to set, and the boat went anchored about 400 yards almost directly west of me. And right then and there I freaked out and I realized they didn't know I was on board.
All of the other divers were kicking back and relaxing on board the boat following a long day in the water. Down below, it appeared that John was asleep. No one knew that he had been left at sea.
Please don't leave me!
I'm getting away from the boat. I don't know how they're going to find me. The ocean's so big.
Please don't go!
They think I'm in bed sleeping and that they're not going to realize that I'm still in the water till during, before, or after the first dive the next day when they do another count and realize there's a body missing.
At first, John was only 400 to 500 yards away from the boat. But as the tide went out, he got caught in a rip current that pulled him out of sight of the boat and into the feeding waters of barracuda and shark.
When the sun set completely and it was dark, I completely realized I was gone. I couldn't get to the boat myself. Right as soon as that happened is when I felt totally hopeless, you know, that I was gone. I've been in the water a long time, over 15 hours, 16 hours. And I was just knew I was really far west of where I was supposed to be, and I just freaked out because I know there's nothing west. There's nothing except a lot of deep water. And then right there, I just felt completely hopeless. It was just the worst feeling.
John was drifting over the feeding grounds of the various fish in the area. If he started to thrash in the water, the vibrations would attract predator fish. The barracuda would not attack him because they stay away from anything bigger than they are. But the sharks are a different story.
Sharks, on the other hand, will just come up and eat. They just will come up and bite, and they will eat what's there.
Dr. Fisher has caught sharks over 1,500 pounds in the same area John was now in.
I guarantee you, I would have been scared to death. And I don't know that I would have remained as calm as John.
You know, there were times where I would say, well, I hope no sharks come, and then I would freak out.
But John kept his emotions inside. On the outside, he stayed calm. To keep his mind off the danger below him, he would distract his fear and focus on less stressful thoughts.
I'm not going to be one of these guys just because he gets in a jam, starts making deals with God, but I said a prayer and I asked God to just help me make the right decisions to get out of this. You know, I thought, this is it. There's nothing I can do. And then I go, boy, what can I do? What can I do? And then I said, well, I'll ask God. So I said a prayer. I go, God, I'll make a deal with you. I'll go to church on Sundays. Just help me out of this. During this time, I was like filled with all this rage and resentment. I hated the guy that talked me into going on my first trip, talked me into going certified. I hated my dive instructor for certifying me. I hated all the guys on board the boat. I hated the captain. I mean, I thought, I just want to get out of this, and I'm going to get them all. And then after that, I said, you know, boy, I don't know what to do. And I said, I'll tell you what, God, if you help me out of this and help me get saved, I go, I will not have any resentments against anyone. And then I felt good. I go, well, at least I'm going to go with not these bad feelings in me.
John had now been in the water for 15 hours and had drifted into an area that was an underwater desert. No fish, no barracuda, no shark, nothing. He was now in a very safe place. But treading water for so many hours started to take its toll.
I heard something, I felt something, and I looked up. There was a bird a couple inches in my face. I never hit anything. I'm not dead yet.
While John was struggling in the open sea, the dive boat realized that he was not on board. They radioed to the United States Coast Guard, who immediately dispatched rescue boats and helicopters to start the search.
We were about an hour into the search, and we were flying at about 300 to 400 feet, about 80 knots in airspeed. I heard my rescue swimmer, Jerry Hoover, give me the call, turn left, I've got him in sight.
The Coast Guard constantly trains for this type of situation. This is footage from a training drill. Just spotting an in-water victim with only head and shoulders exposed is like finding a needle in 1,000 haystacks.
They came over, and they seen me, and oh, great. I can't believe this. I was just I couldn't believe I was going to live.
After we picked him up, we called the dive boat and informed them that we had their diver aboard. And basically the way I put it was we have the luckiest man in Florida aboard our aircraft.
John Carney was lost at sea for a total of 19 hours. He was actually in the water for over 24 hours. The skipper of the dive boat lost his captain's license. And while John did not suffer any physical injuries, the experience taught him one important lesson.
Now I have a dive buddy. I have two dive buddies every trip, and their main responsibility is to make sure the boat don't leave without me.
When it comes to rescues on and in the water here in America, the most prolific organization is the United States Coast Guard. They're like the water-based version of the Postal Service. Sun, wind, sleet, hail, the Coast Guard will always get there. They'll never fail, even if it means taking their boats through 20-foot seas.